Okay, this session is being recorded. I'm Dr. Fumilayo Dohati, the coordinator for the Journal Club on Environmental Toxicology, Biology, and Chemistry. I have here joining with me co-coordinators, Aneyo, Kojo, Rabi, and then we have Godwins from eLife. So I'm delighted to welcome you all to today's workshop on the role of preprints in scholarly publishing. We all know that preprints have emerged as a pivotal aspect of scholarly communication, offering researchers the opportunity to share their findings rapidly and openly with the global scientific community. So today, we have gathered to delve into the significance of preprints, exploring their evolution, benefits, and practical applications in academic research. So throughout the workshop, which will last about 2 hours, we will embark on a journey to understand the fundamentals of preprints, ranging from their inception to their current state in scholarly publishing. And we will also explore how preprint facilitates the dissemination of knowledge, how preprint foster collaboration and accelerate the pace of scientific discovery. So for this workshop, we're going to be having insightful sessions where we will not only discuss theoretical aspects, but we're also going to engage in practical demonstrations. And we'll also showcase examples of preprint platforms. And then we also delve into the task associated with engaging with preprints, empowering you to navigate these platforms effectively. So this is just the first phase of the series of workshops that we're going to be having. So those of you who have attended this one will have the opportunity to attend the second and the training on how to review preprints. So I encourage everyone to participate actively, ask questions, share your insights throughout the workshop, and let's make the most of the opportunity to deepen our understanding of preprints. Once again, welcome to this workshop. I want to use this opportunity to thank Godwins of eLife for collaborating with the Journal Club. And I also want to appreciate Kojo, our very own Kojo, for accepting to facilitate. So thank you, everyone. So now I will hand over to Godwins to begin the workshop. Thank you all. Godwins, you are muted. You are muted.
Yes, thank you. Thanks for reminding me that I'm muted. I'm just going to get the presentation and share it. So my name is Godwins Omochekwa. I am the head of communities at eLife. eLife is a journal that is based in the UK. Right, let me share this. Right.
Well, I can share from my end. If you are struggling, I can share from my end.
That's fine. I'm using a different computer to do that. So.
Okay.
Can you see the screen? Yeah. Okay. So my name is Godwins Omochekwa from eLife, and today I'm here as part of the invitation and the team that to talk about preprints. We're going to do exactly as Dr. Fumilayo said, go from the basic, the plan being that as we go ahead, the next phase of it will involve other aspects of using and participating with preprints, including especially the reviews of them. As said, I will introduce myself and then I'll hand over to Kojo, who will then carry on from there. And with this workshop will be co-facilitated by both of us. So there'll be both of us changing from one person to the other or asking the other person to say something. If we're going too fast, please let us know. And may I also just say that as we do this workshop, that we all participate and contribute, but do that respectfully. And even if we disagree with another person's point of view, we have to do that in an objective way and be respectful of everybody. And if anyone feels that their voice is not being listened to or that they have not had a good experience, feel free to speak to Dr. Fumilayo or Kojo or Enayo, and they can address that, please. So a little about eLife. eLife was established in 2012. It's a non-profit. It's based in the UK, and it was founded by a group of scientific organizations, which are Howard Hughes Medical Institute, Wellcome Trust, and Max Planck Institute. Those are the founding members. Their plan was to set up a journal that challenges the norm and improve scientific communication. We also develop open source platforms to support reviews and organization and dissemination of research. And the vision is to improve the wider research culture and make sure that it's science scholarly communication is inclusive, is diverse, and that the voice of scientists from across the world is heard on an equal basis. So I'll pass over to Kojo now to do the other introductions.
Good evening from here. So Alter 8 is one of the co-hosts of this section. I'm sure most of us here belong to one journal club or the other, or belong to one network of the Alter 8 platform. It's a free pioneering global network that provides support to researchers like you and I from low and middle income countries. Alter 8 provide an online platforms that provide mentoring and collaboration, and also online courses and resources that I know most of us here have been beneficiaries of these resources and MOOCs that we have participated in the past, and even currently, and other ongoing online courses that Alter 8 offers. It currently hosts over 14,000 members in different communities from 175 countries. Alter 8 also run virtual journal clubs, specifically in the life sciences, medicine, and also in social science, which I know most of us here belong to one journal club or the other. Next. Go to next. Okay. So I also belong to an organization here in Nairobi, Kenya. I think a couple of my colleagues also belong to this organization, which was established in 2018, called the Organization of African Academic Doctors, which is a Pan-African non-governmental organization, essentially a vision to promote R&D, technology, and innovation across the continent. We do this by fostering collaboration and knowledge sharing among our network in 54 countries. And also any African or anybody with an African descent with a PhD or a PhD student. We currently host members from over 70 countries globally. Our key activities include convening and annual conferences and symposium. We also provide fellowship for our members and research grants, facilitate members to participate in research grant and also submit application for research grant. We do co-publications, both of policy notes and also of research publication. We do also a lot of advocacy, especially trying to bridge the gap between research and industry across the continent. And recently, we have a special project with one of the institutions here in China to foster a deep research on health policies across the continent and how policymakers could integrate findings from this research works into policy making across the continent. And so OAD is also a co-host of this section this afternoon. this evening, this morning, wherever else you are listening to us from. Next. So for us to delve into the section, we would like to understand your level of experience and also knowledge with preprint. And so what we'd like you to do is to document your experience, document your knowledge level of preprint, and then at the end of the section, you tell us whether the section was relevant to demystify some of the myths that you may have had about preprint or some of the misgivings you have about preprint. And so we'd like you to take a short Mentimeter poll. We will paste this in the chat box. Chat. I don't know if it's clear. Okay. So just click on the link and then it will take you to the poll section, and then just respond to the poll, and then we'll come back to the presentation. Got it?
Can we give everyone 1 minute to do that?
Sure.
It shouldn't take that long, but for internet. Okay. I'm assuming everyone would have had time to do that. Is anyone struggling to get it done? Would like everyone to please participate so that we can get a little bit of okay. 11 people has completed it, 12. I don't know how many we are here. Oh, okay. So there should be about 26 people completing it. If you have not done it, could you please help us to get it done so we can move straight to the next phase? If you're having a problem completing the Mentimeter, can you use the reaction on Zoom to just put a wave so we can know that there are people who are not able to do it. No one has given a wave, so everyone should be able to do it. Kojo, how many do you have now?
A minute.
Right, there are 18 people completed it, so that should do for now. So today we're going to cover this brief aspect of preprint. So far on the Mentimeter, I can see that 33% of you said that they have no knowledge of preprints. Another 33% has said they've heard about it before but have no experience with it. So that's 66%. Over half the people here do not have full knowledge of preprints, and then there's some who 11% has a little bit of experience or understanding of it, and 5% has a very strong knowledge of preprints, and 16% have used it, have deposited. Yeah, so that's a good balance. So today we're going to cover the introduction to preprint. But can I say, since I know that there are about 20% of people here, of participants who knows about preprint, that you bear with those who don't know. Let's do this collaboratively and share knowledge and bring others to speed. Even if you do know what we're talking about, do be patient with us, and I'm sure that we will all learn from each other. I know about preprint, but I do learn more and more about it every day when I speak to other people. So let's carry on together in that way. We'll then go to looking at how you engage with preprints and look at the various, a few servers that we put together, preprint servers, and then we'll do some sort of demonstration, which would actually be hands-on. So if you're participating, we expect that you are able to load a website. That would be very useful for you. We don't want this to just be talking at you. We want everyone to take part and contribute something, even for themselves. So we get to the point where we do that, and you can contribute by participating, taking a practical step to use a preprint platform. Even if you have not before, it's an easy one. We think be a basic one to start with. So the next thing we then do is talk about preprints and what they are. Kojo, were you talking about this or was I talking about it?
Okay, so I'll start and then you come in. So we'd like to look at some of the rules of preprints. Some of them are quite evolving. Preprints have been an increasing important part of scholarly publishing, as our host mentioned in her introduction. It offers us as researchers a way to share our work quickly and efficiently before formal peer review and final publications. This section will explore the rise of preprint repositories and preprint servers, and some debates that we think has already been settled as a result of its evolution, especially looking at the current status of preprints in scholarly publishing, and also look at the evolving role of traditional journals and also the publishing ecosystem in general as a result of the evolved nature of preprint in the scholarly publishing landscape. Now, I would like to look at some of the key indicators that makes preprint now more or less an integral part of the scholarly publishing processes. We will delve into the history, the concept itself, and also some of the key developmental milestones in the evolution of preprint in scholarly publishing. However, I would like to give you some few indicators here, and I think my colleague will delve on that part. So preprint is a version of a scientific manuscript that are posted. So your manuscript, you prepared the final version ready to submit to a journal, but before you submit to a journal, you post it to a preprint server. Within days or within weeks, these manuscripts that are posted to the server will be assigned with a DOI. DOI is Digital Object Identifier that makes archiving of your document permanent and also searchable across different repositories and also different indexing databases globally. It's helped us to rapidly disseminate our research findings in a fast-moving field, like especially in medicine and in the tech space. You know how technology keep on evolving, especially with the AI. Every day and day out, new innovations are coming out, new products are being released. And for you to be able to keep pace with that, you should be able to get your development or your innovation out there, your findings in a quicker and faster manner. And preprint offers that as that medium before going to the formal peer review and final publications. It also offers us as researchers an increased visibility. It's a way to showcase your work and also receive early feedback from the scientific community. It leads to increased visibility and also impact, especially for early career researchers like you and I. Most of us here are early career researchers, and especially for those of us who also work in niche areas, Now talk of niche area, it could be new areas like AI, for instance, or machine learning. These are new areas of research. And so once you have a finding that you put in the repository, most of these servers and repositories now provide a platform for you to collate feedback and receive instant feedback from the manuscript that you have posted. Last indicator here is it offers us the collaborative opportunities. And these, I will be sharing experience as we go along. Because of the openness and also the accessible nature of preprint, it facilitates new collaborations and also interdisciplinary connections. And this helps us as researchers globally to easily discover and engage with other people's work. And sometimes because their work findings may be so interesting or maybe so in consonance with your existing work or your current field of study or interest, you are compelled to, in one way or the other, reach out to them and explore further collaborations or further working relationship with such researchers before some of these papers get finally published. So these three are the major indicators of how preprint has evolved over the years. I'll hand over to my colleague, Godwin, to take it out from here.
Okay, so we've talked about what preprint is and how it operates. Now, I want to highlight this aspect of it because one of the common concepts you will hear out there is that preprint has no advantages, or it cannot be accepted in grant applications, or not used for tenure tracking. It is not widely used or in those areas, but Kojo mentioned, Preprints is making strides, positive strides. Organizations and fund grant-making organizations are beginning to accept preprints, and there have been some policy directions from states as well, that preprints is acceptable for making grants, and some universities are beginning to also, especially in the Western world, as far as I know, are beginning to consider preprints as part of their body of work for tenure tracking. So there are positive movements with preprints. And some of these examples on the screen are some of the biggest organizations that you can see, NIH as well as Wellcome Trust, are also beginning to support preprints. So the advantages of preprints has already been mentioned. It gives immediate access and provide free platform to deposit and access your work, but it does have that often cited referenced disadvantage that it is not peer reviewed. And this is one of the end goal of this workshop. Not today's part of it, but the general thing is that will show how preprint review is becoming an acceptable mode of scholarly publications, journals using them and all of that. So these are some of the benefits of preprints, the rapid dissemination of your results, the inclusion that it provides, and the community feedback, which is one of the key strengths of it. In fact, as Kojo mentioned earlier, preprints started because some scholars wanted their peers to see their work before they give it to a journal. It wasn't really, the name preprints came from there. It was pre-printing, because in the time it started, journal publications were printed on hardcovers, and I think in some parts of the world we still do that. But before you do the review, the peer review, and publish it and print it, that is what they call. Before I send it so that it can get to the point of being printed, I share with my peers and they can see it and give me some feedback. So community feedback is the basis of the start of preprint. And when it started then, it was just people sharing within their own small network. But over time, the benefit was being seen as useful and positive, and that expanded. So community feedback is one of the key aspects that still happens today, and actually is one of the key plank that makes preprints very useful for those who use it. And more people are beginning to use it. I will go back on this slide and show you this graph, which comes from, I think that graph comes from Europe PMC. It shows the rise of preprint. You can see in 2019 how little preprints were, and compare that to 2023. So the amount of people depositing their works preprint between just about 4 years has rapidly grown. And that is because those who use it are getting benefits from it, and those benefits could be anything. And I will show you at later end about the reviews that we're talking about. So the origins, goes back to the 60s, when the NIH IEG started formally trying to use preprint, and those were used by just sharing it amongst peers. The NIH championed it, and before that, it was just between peers to provide feedback, and then that was mostly within physics and mathematics, but it rapidly expanded. As you can see in that, this is not a comprehensive timeline, it's just picking out some of the milestones. By 1965, there was more than 3,000 researchers from as many as 46 countries taking part in it. And that was because of the subscription system that NIH created. And 1991 came the first, what we formerly now called preprint servers, which is archive. That was the very first leveraging on the internet. As you know, the internet wasn't common before this time. Archive actually started as an email subscription, but as the internet developed, it formed into a proper platform, and it's considered to be the grandfather of the current preprint system that we have. So here is
sorry, Gordon, let me add something here quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so in 2013, sorry, 213, that is 2013.
Yeah.
We all know the Public Library of Sciences, popularly PLOS ONE, the PLOS group, actually was the first journal to endorse sharing of preprint to accelerate dissemination of research findings as part of publishing in their outlet. And so these actually brought preprint to the mainstream of scholarly publishing in the publication process. And since then, most journals now encourage you to deposit your manuscript with a preprint server that aligns with their interests and also aligns with their areas of specialization before you submit your manuscript to them for review and also subsequent publications. And so from there, PIJ also took over. Open Science also promoted it across, and different journals like Springer Nature also got themselves involved. And most publishing houses like eLife now formally promote this and recognize it as part of the publication process. And so just a tidbit of one of the milestones to add to what you just said. Thank you.
And thank you. And before we move forward, actually, there's a question from Edda, which says, a bit lost. Do preprints have different journals only for preprints? I will answer the question the way I understand it. There is no different journals for preprints. And that's something we need to clarify here before we actually move further. Preprints, as Kojo started by saying, is when you complete your manuscript. I should have drawn a loop for this. So when you complete your manuscript, the traditional system that people use is you submit the manuscript as it is to a journal. With preprints, what you do is you complete your manuscript. Instead of submitting that manuscript to a journal, which you can do, there are now two options. Although I say options, there are options that you can use together. You can both submit it to a journal and also post it on a preprint server. You can do both at the same time. But as I said, there are also options. You can also decide to just submit it to a journal and not preprint it, or you can decide to put it on a preprint server and not submit it to a journal yet. Now I put the word yet because if you go through the preprint route, what you are doing is, remember what I was saying, that is why I left this on the screen. When you share it, put it on the preprint server, you allow other people, your peers, to see it. We live in a digital world now. When it started in the 60s, what people did is they actually take a printout of their manuscript and send it to their friends to have a look. Their friends look at it, give them some feedback, then they finalize their copy and send it to a journal. But of course, I don't think you want to print as many as thousands to give to your peers or hundreds of copies. So if you put it on a digital platform, a preprint server, your colleagues, you can tell them the link to it. And as Kojo says, it has a DOI, so it has a permanent record. They can look at it and give you feedback, but also any other person, let's assume, of course, I'm not in your field, but you post it there, but I happen to see it. I can also give feedback on it, okay? Because I'm not in your network, I'm not your peer, I'm not in the same university, institution, or country as you, or even continent, but I can also encounter your preprint and then give you feedback. This route means that if you gather all those feedback, you can revise your work by yourself. And what the preprint service does very well is that they version these submissions. So when you revise it, you post it back again, you will still be linked to the previous one, but it now has a version 2 of the preprint. Also, if at this point you think, oh, I'm happy that I've got all this feedback, it has made my work much more comprehensive and much more improved, you can now submit it to a journal. That is how it works. So preprint doesn't have a different journal. It's just that you submit a preprint, or you post. Actually, the right word people use is you post a preprint. You don't submit a preprint. You submit to a journal. You don't post to a journal. But you can do both together or separately, at the same time or at different times. I hope that makes sense. Kojo, did I miss anything?
Yes, I think Felix made a very good point here, and I would like to elaborate on that and also share some few guidelines that could help us who are yet to have an experience with preprint. His comment in the chat reads, some journals may consider a preprint as a prior publication, which could affect the ability to publish the work in a peer-reviewed journal later. However, many journals now have policies that allow preprint, so it is essential to check the specific policies of the target journal. Now, I would like to share this to help us. So due to what he just mentioned, just summarized beautifully in the chart, there's what we call the evolving role of journals. Most journals now, there are three major ways that they are evolving their publishing practices in order to incorporate preprint as an integral part of the publication process. The first one is looking at them as traditional gatekeepers. And so journals have historically served as the primary gatekeepers of scientific communications. And they control the peer review process and decide which research is qualified and accepted for formal publications. Now, as part of the evolution of preprint, most journals now have policies in-house, just like our colleague mentioned in the chat, that encourage researchers to deposit their manuscript with preprint servers that aligns with their interests and their area of publications or their area of work as publishers before you submit your work for publication. In our journal club, that is environmental biology, chemistry, and toxicology, we published a paper, I think 2 years ago with +1. So as part of the publication, we actually submitted, I acted as a corresponding author, submitted the manuscript first to Figshare as a preprint. Figshare, the next day within 24 hours, accepted it and assigned as a DOI. And then we submitted the manuscript the following day to +1. +1, however, responded back to us and recommended that we need to deposit it with a specific preprint server. And they mentioned the name and even added the link to the server for us to deposit the manuscript before they can take the manuscript for formal peer review. And so we did that, and then we alerted them. When we did that and alerted them, the following day, the manuscript was assigned for peer review. So most journals now have in-house policies that takes care of that. Secondly, most publishing houses also have policies to integrate preprint in the publishing ecosystem. So many journals now actively encourage, like we mentioned earlier, and also require you as an author or as a researcher to share your preprints before you submit your manuscript to them as an integral part of the formal publication process. And so make sure you check all these. And lastly, most journals also have system in place in their submission system to evaluate and to validate that indeed what is in your preprint is not substantially different from the manuscript that you are submitting to them. And so they do that to be able to expedite the peer review process as part of the publication process for formal publication. Lastly, I would like to share this, which we collated from our experience as publishers, as authors. So we refer to as the best practices for preprints, for preprint authors, like those of us who deposit our manuscript in preprint. First of all, you need to choose your right preprint. Don't worry, we'll share all the slides with you after this section. Choose your right preprint server. So as researchers, before you submit your manuscript to any preprint server, you need to ask yourself some few questions. Is that preprint appropriate for your field and research interest and direction? And because different preprint have different missions, they have different even submission guidelines, different policies of publishing, and even have different orientation for their communities. And so you can have a manuscript in, let's say, in public health and go and submit it in, let's say, a physics server, a server that is meant for researchers in the physical sciences. Okay, so ask yourself those basic questions before you settle on preprint. The good news is that most journals now list recommended preprints that align with their interests on their website, especially if you are ready to submit your manuscript. Secondly, engage with the community, which we'll be encouraging this afternoon with you. And so once you are part of the research community, preprint now have communities that you can connect with researchers. And so you'll be familiar with most of the preprint that align with the interest in your field or that align with the research focus in your field. Last but not the least, most preprint servers now maintain what we call a version control, just like Gordon emphasized. And so authors should be diligent about updating their preprint within servers. And most journals now ensure that if your preprint, your manuscript is deposited with the preprint, the version control number is actually published with the original manuscript when it has been accepted for publication. And this is to encourage transparency and also enhance traceability. And lastly, ensure that journals have policies that encourage to back our colleagues' points in the chat. Ensure that the journal you are submitting to have policies that encourage you to deposit your manuscript with a preprint before you deposit it with a preprint and to submit your manuscript. So I think these are some of the few additions I'd like to add to what our brother was sharing with us.
Okay, we will move forward, but Ifolowa asked, are there journals that do not accept manuscript that have preprints? Yes, there are, but they are very few and far now. Should preprints be counted as part of publications? Sometimes it does. It depends on how strong your preprint is. But as I explained earlier, there are policies. The United States made a policy 2021 called the Nelson Memo, which is encouraging the acceptance and use of preprints. Australia did announce that they would now start recognizing preprints in grant application. The Gates Foundation, of course, I know you've heard about them. made an announcement a few weeks ago. That was not new about preprints, and there are many others. So there are. Number three, yeah. Can I use the same title on my preprint for the final publication? That's what Kojo just finished saying. Your preprint usually is expected to remain the same title, the same content, except with revisions. So yes, it's always advised to do so. If you have to change it, then there must be a strong case for doing that. Are preprints acceptable as references? I think that was answered as part of question number 2. Are preprints safe from plagiarism? I mean someone else taking it and going ahead to get it published. No, plagiarism is plagiarism, and it can happen for published articles or anything. In fact, one of the advantages of preprints is that if you deposit your work, you put a timestamp on it, it becomes your work. So it's more evidence that you actually have done that work and posted it and have a timestamp, and it has a DOI. So people can't cite preprints these days. Instead of taking your work and going to do something with it, they actually can cite it as a citable document in their research. So that's that. We'll move ahead. I wanted to do something with the next.
Gordon, sorry, let's respond to this question quickly. I think it will clear a lot of misconception.
Which one?
This is from Bumi Jimo. So can a peer-reviewed journal be deposited on a preprint platform after it has been accepted and published? The answer is no.
No.
So preprint means that your paper, your manuscript has not been reviewed yet. So once it is reviewed and is published, there's no need to deposit in the preprint.
Yeah. What you can do after that is to make it accessible. Now, that is a different kettle of fish that we'll talk about in the future. Published open access and non-open access. That is where that falls into. If your work is published, you want to make it open access. If it's not open access and you want to make it open access, you need to look into the policies of your publishing journal and all of that. So the next point, we'll put together a list of some preprint servers, and they go from this just a few. There are many more preprint servers. As Kojo said, we will share this presentation at the end, so don't worry about screen grabbing and all of that. I mean, if you want to, you can do that, but we'll share it. This is just a few examples of preprint servers. We have roughly 1 hour left. What I was going to say, Fumi, how many people are in here?
We have about 40, including ourselves.
Okay. You can count us. Can you give us a breakout room of 8? No, sorry, of 5. I don't include us, but if you give us a breakout room of 5 people, 5 groups, invite them to join a group, and then each group can just take 3, how many? 5, can take 2 preprint servers, look at it roughly in 7 minutes, just explore it together, make some notes, and come back and give us feedback. That would only happen for 7 minutes, as I said.
Hello, sir. Please, I have a question.
5 breakout rooms, right?
Yes. And then
so the participant can choose, they can choose whichever room they want to go to.
No, set it to automatic so that it will put people into
assign automatically. Okay.
Yeah. Jacob, just save your question or post it on the chat for now.
I've done that.
Yeah, if you send it out, just remove us though from the group so that it's balanced. That should be about 5, should be about 7 people each group. So group 1, you take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Let me start again because I included us initially. Okay.
Group 1, the groups will come as group 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So group 1, you look at archive and bioarchive. Don't look at Africa archive yet. Group 2, you look at engineer I don't know how to say it, engineering archive and chem archive.
Yeah, engineer.
Yeah. And group 3, you look at CABI and Sci archive. Group 4, you look at sports archive and paleo archive. And group 5, have a look at Earth archive.
Group 1 again. I want
No,
to
no,
put
no.
in the chat so that it's clear.
Okay, group 1 is looking at archive and bioarchive.
Okay, archive.
And group 2, looking at engineer and chemistry. Group 3 is looking at agri archive and sci archive. Group 4 is looking at sports and paleo. And group 5 is looking at, okay, that's actually true. It's looking at Earth archive and OSF.
Group 2 is looking at agri and what?
Okay, keep typing group 2. I will do group 3.
So how many minutes for the
7 minutes. Group 3 is
Group 2.
agri, sci. Group 5 is Earth and OSF. All right, for me, can you invite us everyone to the group, please?
everyone has gone to the group
Oh, I can still see everyone.
except except us.
No, we don't have to go to group.
Yeah, I think each of us need to join one of the groups so that if they have questions, you can just respond to them directly there.
Okay, but each of us remember what the group each
Yeah,
group are looking at,
all
right?
I'll remain in the main room. I'll remain in the main room to assign people.
Okay, now you can assign me to group 2.
Okay.
Yeah, group 2.
You set time on it, right?
We can do that manually as well, since this is abrupt.
Okay.
Okay, Kojo, I've assigned you.
Okay.
Ravi, where do you want to go?
We should come back at
yeah, I think I'm comfortable in the main room probably right now.
You'll be in the main room. Okay.
So if you
That's fine.
want me
don't
to,
worry
then
about it.
yeah, okay.
We'll come back at 12 minutes past the hour.
Okay, so I will close all the rooms at
12
11.
past. Yeah.
Okay, 11:15 thereabout.
Yeah.
All right.
I will join a group and then I'll come out and see if I can join another one. Or was I assigned to one already? No, I wasn't.
You can join any group, I think.
Okay. So some people hasn't joined groups.
I'm assigning them.
Group 4 has too many people in it.
Okay, all right.
Move to 5.
Okay.
Okay, let me join group 3 and see what they do. These people that hasn't joined are probably people who joined the workshop but are not actually sitting there listening to anything.
Exactly.
Because group 3 has all the people who has not joined and they are on the screen here. For me, you know what? I like to be, this is how we do things and get people to actually do things properly. All the people that hasn't joined the group, you can put them back into the waiting room. So when they come back to their computer, whatever, they can join properly. So
Okay, all right.
yes, do that.
Okay.
Hello. Hello, Mr. Godwin.
Yes.
I think nothing is going on in the room because I tried to join some of the room and everybody's just muted. So
Maybe you have to join one of the rooms. I'm in the main room assigning people.
okay.
Ravi, why don't you join one of the rooms also?
Yeah, I think I can join. Yeah. Probably I guess biology. I guess. Yeah. Maybe I could join the ocean and marine climate sciences. In case. Yeah.
Okay, I think you can join from your end. You can pick any of the two.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, but which like is there a label for that? Which room is what? Um,
I think you should just join any room actually.
okay. Okay, for me. I'll join now. Yeah.
Godwin, you're back. You're muted.
I went to one room where they are not doing anything, so I give them some instructions.
Okay.
So I'm back to go to another room to see. Anayo is at that place, so that's helpful. Kojo, did you go to room 2? What were they doing anything? Oh, Kojo is not even here. I think Kojo, you joined 2 times, so one of the proper Kojo has gone to another room. And I joined 2 times too.
Okay.
Let me go to room 1 and see.
Maybe we should give more time for this.
No, I think we'll spend the better time on the demonstration, and this is just to get people to experience a bit of preprint. I'll come back in a bit. Let me go to room 1. Okay, I'll go to room 4 then. Oh. Actually, it's time to close it. I can't join the rooms. Can you close it now? I think you give them 1 minute to time.
Oh, okay.
Just close all rooms.
Okay, I should do that right now.
Yeah, do that. You give 1 minute to.
Okay.
Yeah, 51 seconds, so it will close in just about that time. I believe everyone should be back in the room now.
Yes.
Are we? Okay.
Some people are still in the room.
No, they can't be. The rooms are closed.
Internet, so make allowance for that.
Okay, allow us for internet.
Can be something else somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah,
Across
sorry.
our country.
Sometimes I forget that. Yeah, not everyone is back in the main room. Yeah, it must be internet trying to switch over. But the rooms are closed. In the meanwhile, instead of this silence,
Yeah, I think we can start. We can start.
Actually, I know. Room 1, where Eda, Gentle, Mai, and Tosin. Is any of you back in the room?
Yes.
Yes,
I'm back in the room.
Okay. You have did you decide who's gonna give feedback amongst you?
We were not even able to.
We were thrown out immediately.
Right.
Okay. As
Was
you
it
were
network
thrown out,
speed?
did you individually actually look at any of the?
Yes.
Yeah, my network was very bad, so I couldn't actually log
Okay,
into the site.
that's fine. Eda, you said yes. Can you tell us which one you had a look at?
Yeah, I looked at archive. I don't know if I'm calling it correctly.
That's fine.
Yeah, which is an open access. It's a repository of electronic preprints, but they were also saying it's also takes post prints, which I don't know what that is. And then we had just started looking at Africhive. Then the gentleman Paul told us no, it's not Africhive. It was supposed to be Biochive.
Yeah.
So I had just opened Biochive and I saw it's a repository of biological sciences documents. And then it's free online archive. Yeah.
Thank you.
Further, yeah.
Thanks a lot. That's very good feedback. You mentioned post print from archive.
Yeah.
You noticed that one is free. All of them are free, the ones we put here. Group 2, we had Dr. Obere, Etukudo, Felix, Kojo, oh no, not Kojo, Malobika, Solomon, and Temi. Is any of you here yet? I can see Tommy. Oh, not Temi.
Okay, well,
Felix, yes.
well, yes. So, what I can say, I noticed
Tell us
the
which one you looked at first.
Yes, I looked at agri, the one for agriculture and the one for psychology.
Okay.
Yes, so the one for agri, the color is off, very discouraging. But I'm glad they finally moved from osf.io to Kabi Digital Library. It looks much better, as if it's actually a peer-reviewed journal website. It's fantastic. It looks really lovely, you know. And the way they arranged the preprint is as if is already published. It's so good.
Okay.
You know, so well, although I don't know their decision to move to Kabi Digital, but whatever it is, I think it's a more improved version of the preprints. Yes.
And
so
is there anything else you noticed in the practical aspects of preprint? Let's forget
the ability to search.
Okay.
You know, in case someone tells you, oh, I have my preprint, you can actually search. you know,
Okay.
for it to see, and you could search for maybe interested subjects.
So there
you
are
know, through.
keywords and search with.
Yes, and interestingly, they have submission guidelines, you know, because
Oh.
all this while we have been thinking preprint is just go there and dump your work. They are now making things much improved and much better. Now we have submission guidelines, so meaning that you can't just dump anything you like, you know.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
And
thank you.
Thanks a lot. That's very good feedback for us. Room 3, we had Damilola said here, and I think if I remember Paul, are you any of you there?
Yeah, well, we did not really have chance to go through it at all before the breakout session canceled.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Sorry.
That's fine. Did you look at it personally as just on your own? No. Group 4, we had Abba Salome, Akim Bumi, Dr. Shola, Ifedolabo, Oluwatomisi, and Rukiat. Is anyone here from that group?
Yes, Bumi, I'm here.
Okay, Bumi, did you look at anything?
Yes, I did. But what happened was that I was initially assigned to group 1. Later, I was assigned to group 4.
Okay.
So we were able to just figure it out, counting from the top. We felt, okay, that psychology and the sport should be ours. So we were at a verge of searching before the time went off. But I was able to search anyway. And I discovered that the one for psychology is user friendly. I could see the interface at first where I could submit my preprint. It came first page, so to me it's user friendly. Then I also check. I think that's the one for sports.
Yeah.
So I think it's okay too. It's okay, though not really, really user friendly to me because I'm using my phone anyway to connect. So just looking at it now to just see what is there. But I could see preprint already submitted with the DOI. So I think it's okay too. It's okay.
Okay, great. That's fine. Thank you. Group 5, we had Ifolua, Ifoma, Ravichandra, and Tommy. Is any of you here? And can you tell us, one person tell us what they looked at?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Ifolua, which one did you look at?
Earth Archive and OSF.
Okay. What did you notice?
Yes, so for Earth Archive, we noticed that it's for earth science and planetary science.
Yeah.
So, yes, and of course, they also give the DOI assigned to each article. Yes, then for the OSF, I think that's quite more general. It has different disciplines, unlike the earth science that is just for a particular discipline.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. This is if you
however, I have a question.
Okay.
May I? Yes. Because yes, very straightforward. I'm a nutritionist, so I saw nutritional sciences, that's Nutri Archive. I went to check there. I saw that it's not necessarily functional. However, looking through some of the preprints that were there before, I see that some are withdrawn. So is it that at some point people can withdraw their preprints from whatever server it is that they've previously put it on?
Okay.
That's the question.
The question actually addresses something very simple. The core difference between preprints and publication in the current state of things is just the aspect of publishing. And when we say publishing, we mean version of record. That is the only remaining core difference between them. Otherwise, as someone has mentioned earlier, I think it was Felix that mentioned, some preprints even have submission guidelines, not even some, quite a lot of them. BioArchive does that. They check your work properly before they accept it to be put on their platform. You can search, you can review them. We're going to get to that one. So most of the characteristics are now the same, except that core aspect of version of record, which is when the work is considered completely published. So that's the answer to that question. We'll have to move forward because there's not much time, but if you have questions, please type it in. We'll collect all those questions. If we don't answer them today, we'll try to answer them and send them round to the people who attended this group as a follow-up. Yeah, we will share this slide as we said earlier at the end. So to the next point. So this is you've all seen. I hope that you can take your time later to look at what preprints are, servers are, and how they work. Most of them work similar to submitting your manuscript now. And as Kojo mentioned earlier, also Felix hinted at that earlier. eLife, where I work, is a journal, but if you want to submit your work to us, we require you to submit it as a preprint. PLOS also does the same thing. If you cannot do that, we will take it from you and we will put it on a preprint server, as well as peer review the article. So that's how preprint works these days. Now, the next place we go to is talking about reviews and what happens. We've mentioned reviews a lot and the difference it creates between preprint and published article. Actually, someone mentioned post-print. In post-print, there was a question before we went to groups about whether you can, after publishing your work, put it on a preprint server. And I did say something about it would depend on the policy of the journal that publish your work, but you can't do that. You can put your work, usually it's no more called a preprint server. The word post-print and also post-review are all coming out newly. They are all part of trying to make the whole body of work more transparent and reusable. So you may finish publishing your work. If it's not an open access, it could be difficult for you to do that. If it's an open access, it's more easier for you to actually deposit it on somewhere else where it can also be available to more people. It depends on very many things. So, which is why what Kojo said in the beginning, when you're posting, not just when you're posting preprints, when you're submitting your manuscript to anyone, you have to check and understand their policies, their guidelines, what they do. Do they accept preprint? Do they not accept preprint? Can they reject your work because it's on another platform? There are so many permutations of what can happen and we're here and there. But the majority of direction of travel is going towards accepting and acknowledging preprint as part of your work that you've done. So what I put on here shows you the rise in the use of preprints that has resulted in a challenge to the notion of lack of review. If you go on bioRxiv, for example, every time you open a preprint, it will say to you, this work has not been peer reviewed. But that notion is now being challenged. So there are many editorial groups that now review preprints, which is what we are talking about. If you post your preprint, someone will pick it up and go and review it. And when they review it, they can post it elsewhere. Now, what you have to understand, someone asked about plagiarism earlier. When you post a preprint, most preprint servers, if not 99% of them, are publicly accessible, which is why when I was talking about, I might be in the UK, you might be in Nigeria, or in Ghana, or in Singapore, or in the US, you post your work, I can see it. Someone in Latin America can see it. Someone in Australia can see it. So there are those people now coming together as groups or editorial groups, and they can pick up on that work. Some of them may contact you, some will not. They will just review it and they will post it publicly. So you can actually be thinking, I posted my work, but you don't know that someone has looked at it and then made a comment or done something about it. So that is what the website that I've put in front of you does, is then try to pull these reviews together to help authors and help readers to identify that there are comments or feedback on their work, especially when it was not done without asking them. Now, if you put your preprint on a preprint server, it's may sound foolish to say to someone, no, don't review my work, because they don't really have to ask you. Most preprint servers run on a CC BY license. So your work is open to someone to use. Of course, not for them to use to benefit themselves. It's open for them to read and comment and be part of the discussion. It doesn't mean they can just take it and go and reproduce it for something else, as we touched on earlier. So that is what then happens, and the preprint servers allows some feedback on the preprint servers itself. If you, those who looked at OSF, you can see some of it there. If you looked at bioarchive, medarchive, they have a session. They even show things like tweets that mention your preprint, blog posts, community feedback or discussion. They show all ranges of things, and some of them has gone forward to have auth metrics and dimensions. So there's a lot of interaction going on preprints these days. So Society, this is not very the most, it's a screen grab that I did quite quickly, but it shows you a list of organizations that are reviewing preprints. Some of these are full journals, some are not journals. So starting from the top one, Peer Community in Ecology. They are a journal now. The Peer Community is now a journal. They turned into a journal last year, 2023, I think, or end of 2022. Giga Science is a journal based in Hong Kong, I think, and Giga Science and Gigabyte. Access Microbiology is a society, part of the Microbiology Society. So they are a journal, but that is their reviews on this website. Biophysics Collab, eLife, of course, where I work at a journal, but we review preprints only. Review Commons. So this is, groups like this. eLife will not take a preprint and review it without the author, because we're a journal. People submit, but we review them as preprint. Review Commons would usually contact you and say, we want to review this work and do it with you, or people contact them to do it. Prelights does not contact you. They pick up work and they look at them. Pre-review does not contact you. They just take your work and they review it. Biophysics Collab will contact you to review your work. That's how they do it. And they are trying to turn into a journal as well to finally publish that article, but they have not done that fully yet. Acadia Science is a group that also can just pick up your work and review it. So there are various versions of all of this. And then there's pre-review, which at some point I'm talking to them, they will be here to do some training on reviewing preprints. So it's an open preprint reviews platform where you can go in, take a DOI of a preprint, plug it into pre-review, and you can do a review on that work. They have two types of reviews. I think Vanessa presented on this when in March we had the other event. So you can go there and start reviewing preprints. So, and this brings us to, I'm looking at time, we have 30 minutes. Kojo, do you want to say anything at this point? Or is there anything on the chat that I've missed?
Yeah, someone asked a question that I think is very interesting. The person said, can he publish a conference paper as a preprint? The answer is yes. However, you need to check with the conference organizers and the publishers that are publishing the conference proceeding, whether this is part of their policy or it's an acceptable policy before you do that.
Yeah, and the other way, Zenodo, which we didn't visit, I think Zenodo is a preprint, is where they call themselves more a depository. So you can actually put your conference paper on Zenodo straightforward, including, the slide we're using today. If we want, we can put it on Zenodo and it will get a DOI. Yeah. So you can publish most intellectual work on preprint servers. Some doesn't accept it, like, as you notice, some of them, the ones you visited, are subject-based, so they won't just accept a paper. Some of them will ask you for the manuscript, the data behind it, and all of that. So if you don't have that, they will not accept it. But yes, the answer is you can. You need to find where to do that. So everyone should take part in this. It should be easy. So can you open the website, site? Oh, did I have it on here? Okay.
Let me share the link in the chat.
Yes, please. Thank you. Actually, I'm going to stop this one and share a screen of that page as well.
Society.
It's it's on the screen, society.org.
Yeah.
So everyone, please be ready. Type in that society.org into your laptop or computer. It loads fast, I can assure you. Society. Okay.
Okay. Here we go. Why?
Were you able to share it? Screen one.
I'm sharing, but it's like keep on changing the interface. So okay. Everyone.
Sir, can you type it on the chat for us?
Yes.
That's fine. Can you type it? I've shared my screen now. You can see SIETY.
And I've also shared in the chat, so you can also check the chat.
Yeah. So everyone, if you open this website, what we're going to do is, as we were looking earlier, it's about engaging with preprints. So this is a very low lift aspect of it. We're going to have a look at those groups I showed you earlier. So this is the homepage. You can do a search of, let's say, this is science. Actually, what can I search for? Cancer. So you can do a search, and these are preprints. So these are preprints that are on or related to cancer on this website. You can search for any subject. As you can see, oh yeah, my cursor is showing now. So you can, these are search only evaluated articles. Now on this website, they use evaluation instead of review most of the time. But here, where you have related groups, you can see pre-review I mentioned earlier, eLife, where I work, rapid review on infectious diseases, if the US-based group, Review Commons, Prelights, Acadia. They have all reviewed done some form of review or evaluation on an article that is appearing here because we have searched for only evaluated articles. So this one says here, reviewed by pre-review, as you can see. And if we go down, the second one here is curated by eLife, so it has been reviewed by eLife. So this is something that someone has submitted to. Oh, no. Sorry, Bumi. Kojo typed automatically. That's why. Society.org, it should be. That one.
It's .org. Okay.
Yeah, not .com.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Okay, .org.
.com is usually the go-to for.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't even look at it. Sorry.
Yeah. So this is eLife has reviewed this. As I mentioned earlier, eLife usually accepts only get submissions, and then they put it on a preprint server. Usually it's bioRxiv and medRxiv, but they can accept other ones. Again, the same thing here. So you can see that all these preprints has had reviews. This one has been reviewed by rapid review infectious diseases. This one has been reviewed by Review Commons. So it just goes that way. So if you want to actually get more acquainted with preprints, this is a very simple website to use. You can search and you will see the preprints as well as the reviews. The difference is that the preprints doesn't live on this website. If you remember, we did not include this website on the list of preprint servers because this is not a preprint server. This is an aggregator of reviews on preprint. The reason I'm showing it to you is that you can see how preprints is being used in scholarly publishing. If we take this, for example, the first one, it shows you here, this is another record. This is another permanent preserved version of peer review. So this is the study, and this is the summary of their review there, as you can see. And then it gives you other related articles. These ones has not been reviewed. Tommy, can you mute yourself, please? Tommy.
Okay.
Thank you.
Alright.
And then if we go, sometimes you find at preprints on here that has been reviewed by more than one group, because this website pulls together all of the reviews on preprints. I'm trying to find, I actually have, anyway, I'll show you that in a second. So these are for groups. Now, if you go click here on groups, you then see all of the groups. If you want to read a particular group, you can see them here: Pre-Review, Pre-Light, Review Commons, Biophysics Collab. I mentioned this a few minutes ago. Microbiology Society. Kojo mentioned PIJ in the beginning. They were one of the first to start preprints, and they actually had a preprint server, which is no more. The good thing about preprints and DOI is that even if the platform closes, shuts down, your DOI means your preprint, your manuscript continues to exist. It doesn't matter with the preprint server closing down. Life Science Editors, Life Science Editor, they have two. OnJournal is a group, a simple group. They are not a publisher. Except Bio Crowd Review, some of you who were here in March saw Johnny make a presentation about them. This one is a different language. Except Bio Cielo preprint is done in Portuguese, Brazil, or Brazilian Portuguese, sorry, that's the right way to say it. So their reviews are in that form. This one is a screen IT. I will actually show you this because it's an interesting one. It's not human, it's a bot, it's AI. So it picks up preprints and it does a tabular review on it, which is quite interesting. It does randomization. It just does the detection work on that. I like reading the reviews that come from this because it's automated. It can pick up on unbalanced data or data that are not quite accurate or linking very well together. It can pick up on all of those. And what this site does is they set it up to only review papers that has COVID-19. So if your paper has COVID-19, this bot would instantly run through it. And a lot of the feedback we got was that authors liked it because sometimes you know that it's not one person. You are many of you writing a manuscript. Sometimes it's easy to miss something, and this screen IT does help with that, to do that. Now, if you click on list is where I want us to do some work today, some participation work. I'm going to ask you to create a list, but before we get there, I will show you a few lists here. So this is a reading list by Biophysics Collab, which is a group that reviews preprint. Their reading list, I think their focus is on biophysical papers. Their reading list essentially is saying these are papers we have looked at, we have read, but we have not reviewed them. So they do these things. They put them together for other people to see. And it helps, it's a form of curation. So if you're in this field, you can actually look at this and pick out preprints that are useful for you. And then you can maybe you find what you're looking for in one of them, but it's an easy way to search for something. And of course, anyone can have a list here. I even have a list, and I'm not even a scientist of that sort. So this one is run by Ayokunle, who is a professor in the US. I can't remember his field, but he puts things together. I know a bit of all of these people, some of them, not everyone. Open Science Community in Iraq, they run their own group list where they want to collect articles. I've never seen that before. So they're putting this together. So you can use your list for all manner of things to save. I know that one person here is a lab. They use a list to collect articles that they want to use for presentation or something. And that is how it works for them. So, and I'll show you a list that I've put. Yeah. Where is that list? Okay. Scratches list. Okay, let me get it. Right, so this is some, I think I put it on the screen there. Professor Avasti is using this list to put comments. So this is a list that she put together, and you can see this is what we get to at the end. So when you create your profile, what I would like us to do is you can pick a preprint, read it, and do an annotation on it. So this is what she thinks about this work. And you can notice as well that this work that she has annotated also has a review by Eli. If anyone is asking questions, Kojo, do stop me. I'm not looking at the other screen, please.
Don't worry, I'm dealing with the questions, so you can continue.
Okay. So this article has been reviewed by Eli, but at the same time, Prachi Avasti has made a comment on it. She's a professor in the US, I think on cancer-related stuff, I don't know. So you can see all her comments. So this is where we are going to get to today as a takeaway. So let's now go back. I am assuming everyone has opened the main page. If you have, can you click? Does anyone already use this website and has a list on it? If you do, just use reaction on Zoom to say, put a wave. If not, can you go to sign up? The signing up is very, very simple and straightforward. You can also sign up with your Twitter account if you want, or you can just sign up with your email address and create your own password, and then carry on, and you will log in. Has anyone successfully done that?
Sorry, please, I'm lost. You told us to open site.org. I just opened it. I don't know how you got here.
Okay, if you have opened it, can you see the screen I'm sharing? Can you see my screen? So if you have opened site, this is where you will be. Tommy, can you answer me? Are you here?
Yes.
So is that where everyone is? This page?
Yes.
Someone say, okay, thank you. Now, if you click on sign up at the top right hand corner, I'm showing that on my screen. If you click sign up, what you will get is this. Has anyone signed up yet?
Yes.
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 Oh, okay. So who has signed up? Use a wave on Zoom to tell us. We don't want to leave anyone behind, but we don't have a lot of time to wait. If Olua has signed up, a few people said yes. I can't remember who they were. Okay, Coach just said he signed up. Or
Hello, sir. Hello, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Please, I opened site.org and what I saw is the home page of Preprints Curation. And I saw where they say search for keywords, orders, or DOI. So how do I get to sign up, sir? I'm sorry.
Are you using a mobile phone?
Yes, sir.
Okay, if you look at the top of it, it should have sign up, or you should have a sandwich sign.
Is still a search sign by the right, and by the left are 3 lines.
Yeah, that's what is called sandwich. So if you click on that 3 lines, and then you see sign up.
Okay, I've seen the sign up.
Great. So anyone on mobile, you will see the bars to the top left-hand side corner. Click on it and then select sign up.
Thank you. I've seen the sign up now.
Thank you. Right. So sign up, and then if you have signed up, Abba, have you been able to follow the discussion? Thank you, Ifoma.
I'm only seeing my the right time.
Sorry, you're seeing
I didn't
what?
see any sign up.
Are you using a mobile
Only
hand?
my account and login.
Sorry, you can see what? Abba. Okay, Formula, you have signed up. If you have signed up, please say in the chat. Let's see how many people have signed up so we can move on. I really want us to finish on time. We have 10 minutes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, you have to create a handle. I will go to my.
That is your first name. There you go. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Can I even remember? Yeah. No, that's not it. Is it? Let me see. I don't even remember my own login. Oh yeah. So I have
how
logged.
do I create a handle?
Use your first name.
Use anything you like, first name or whatever.
Or your alias, or your
You can see I've logged into mine just now, and it says at the top there, Godwins26. That's my handle. So I just made that up.
You should use a name with number. If it is not with number, it won't go.
Look, sign up.
No, mine went without number.
Mine was complaining until I put it.
Yeah, that's probably because someone else has already used that profile.
Okay.
So looking at the chat now, a few people have signed up. I was going to say I always like women can be very clever. The first set of people signed up were all women. But finally, I saw a man join.
I signed up, they say something went wrong.
Can you redo it again?
I just signed up. They say something went wrong. Please check the following.
Check the what?
They listed things as, okay, check your handle. Your handle must
be creative with your handle. Someone might have used that. But we will have to move forward because signing up shouldn't have taken us 10 minutes. But that's what it's just taken us. So for those who have signed up, have you logged in? If you log in, the home screen will look like exactly the same. You can see that I have logged in and my name is there. So now you have your profile name or handle or whatever you call it, and then you have a logout. You can then see that I have a list.
Yep.
I have a feed, and I can still see all the groups that we saw before and also see other people's list. Now, if you go to list currently, when you log in, you'll still see all the lists, but I will go to my list. I hope you can see what I'm doing on the screen. So this is my.
I'm lost, oh God.
It's all right. It's fine. It's fine. Take it easy.
I've signed in and it brought me to the home page.
Yeah, that's fine. That's where you should be.
So what am I supposed to do at the home page now?
Okay, I'll go back. Can you at this, is it possible for you to listen to what I'm saying?
And watch the slide, watch the screen.
And you can see what we're doing.
Are you at the home page now?
Can you see the screen? Oh, I think you are using a mobile, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Tommy, I think you're joining.
Yes, she should look for a place where there is sign in, click on it. It will automatically take you there, because I'm using mobile too. So to navigate is not that easy using laptop.
Yeah.
So just look for a place where there is sign in, click on it, then it will automatically take you.
That's 3 dash on your left hand. Just click on it. 3 dash on your left hand. Click on it, you will see it.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Same place you clicked before.
For the addition.
Okay, I've seen my name. Oh.
Wow.
I've seen it.
All right.
So what do I do next?
Don't do anything next. Just listen. This is why we should always start things on time. But we started late, so I'm trying to finish us at 12. So now you have seen your name, Tommy, and Malobika said they were unable to sign up, but have you signed up now? Unable to log in. If you follow the instruction that was shared, you could log in. When you log in, then you see your name. Yes. On the screen, you can also see, for those on mobile, always click the lines, the 4 or 3 lines, the sandwich bar at the top left of your screen. If you click on it, it will show you the menu. And on the menu, you will then see what we are seeing on desktop here. It says My List. So My List here, where the cursor is, if I click that, and if you click your list, there will not be anything in your list, right?
Yeah.
Because you just joined. But on my list, I've created 2 new lists. I have multiple reviews, and I also have this one, which I say I'm a layman, so you can name your list whatever you like. And I said I'm a layman. It's a layman's list, using it to understand science. This is what I do here. You can create a new list. You have a default list when you join, which is the first one, that you can create further ones. At the top here, it tells you the number of you have, but there it shows you if you're following anyone or following any group, which you can do. I will now go to what we need to do for us to do the next phase. We will announce a date when that will happen, but before that, and I promise you, for me, would I be right to say it would be at least 6 weeks space before we do the next one, right?
Yes. Yes.
Thank you. So in the next 4 weeks, I would like you to go log into Society, find a preprint. Now, I'm not recommending anyone because I know that everyone here might be from a different field. So find a preprint that is, Dr. Shola is asking for the importance of signing up. That's what I'm exactly explaining now. You're searching for comics. Generally, everything on Society at the moment is, majority of them are science, medical and biological sciences. There are some agricultural sciences and some other ones, but majority are this, field. So, Dr. Shola, your question is the importance, is what I'm trying to say. The assignment task you will take away from today is to go and engage with preprints. But the way you're going to do that, which is very simple, is log into your Society account, find a preprint, read through it, and make a comment on it. What we are aiming for is for you to come up with something like this. If you can see this screen, so this person has read this article, and this is what they have to say. I have not read it, and I promise you I'm not going to read it. I'll probably benefit from what she's saying. But she said, length control of cytoskeletal filament and the superstructures is a really interesting area of study, given blah, 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 blah. So that is her comment, her understanding. So this is what she has said. What I want every one of you to do who has signed in, find a preprint and do similar thing. When you find a preprint, now this one is not in my list. If you please watch the screen, if I click on this, the title of the preprint, it will say to me, save this article here. This is how you save it. So this thing is not in my list, but I found it now. If I click here, then this is where I can make my comments. Whatever I want to do now, as you can see, what I'm doing is rubbish. And I've chosen to put it on my first list. So you say, which list do you want to save this article? I put it on my first one. And why are you saving this article? It's optional. You don't have to say anything, but I just did this to show you an example. Then I do confirm. And then you can see my rubbish. And when anyone opens this, they will see this. Can you see what I've just done?
Yeah.
To participate and contribute review opinions on early versions of leading research is by this year review. Yeah, thank you, Kojo. So yes, my is right. Homework is finding a preprint, read and comment. Am I right? Yes, you are right. Please, I'm going to ask them to remove this that I've just done, but this is just to show you an example of what happened. Now, your comment doesn't have to be long or short. It's just what you understand from reading the article. What you put there can be useful to the owner of this article eventually. It can be useful to the owner of this article because then they will take it. So they would take what comments you've said and it can help them to either revise or improve or be happy that even if they don't use it, they'll be happy that, okay, actually I'm on the right track with what I'm researching. I can now say remove this article for me, which would also remove my comments from it. There you go. So that comment is gone. Does that make sense now? Does anyone have a question that they didn't understand what we have said? Nobody? Okay. Kojo, do you have anything to say? I'm going to change screen now to our presentation.
A brief one. I have an experience with QS. QS does exact same thing like Society does. But QS is such that it is not field specific. Any field at all that you have a manuscript as a draft, you can post it, and then you receive host of comment and feedback, and that helps you to improve your manuscript before you submit to a journal for publication. And secondly, too, most of these researchers are available. They are open to explore collaborations and also to build some lasting relationship with their research institute.
Yeah, so we used Society
for you to engage.
Yeah, we use Society because Society is simplest in annotation. It's just annotation. But there are many others that does these things. You know, there's peer review, which we'll get into in the future. And there is, they have a sandbox, which they demonstrated for us last time. Let me get this off my way. Yeah, and then we have Africa Archive, which is a preprint server, but well, not, it's more of a collection because through Africa Archive, you can submit to OSF and the rest of them. And Zenodo, which I mentioned earlier when someone was asking a question about conference papers, is another place you could go. As we said, we're going to share this with you later. And we have some further reading to think more about preprints. So there's this one from Curb. There's the prehistory of preprints. There's an article just published last week from eLife. Kojo, there's one you're writing, but when you haven't finished that, we'll share that as well. And there's this one, which is very, very short and simple, that I put together in 2021 on preprint servers. So we have a conclusion then. Kojo, do you want to do this bit, please? Kojo? Oh, yeah.
Sorry, I'm coming. Can you hear me?
Yes.
So some key takeaways for our section this morning, especially for most of you participating from the Global South. So preprint, as we've seen from all the engagement we have had so far, has not only become part of the publishing process, but an integral part of the scholarly publishing landscape. And it helps us as researchers to get our findings out there on time and increase our visibility and also increase the readership of our findings and our articles. And then it offers us avenue to explore collaborations that could be win-win if we engage in it very well. It's the debate about it being citable or being a great literature, like we said, is already settled now, as journals has now incorporated preprint as part of an essential component in the publishing process. And the rules, because of that, it has led to the rules of journals changing at this time. Some journals make it quite mandatory, a bit of mandatory for you to deposit your manuscript in recommended depositories or servers before you submit your manuscript through their publishing houses for publications. Most of these journals also published your final accepted paper with a preprint that you have deposited in the recommended servers. So as a takeaway for us, it is something that we need to participate, especially from the Global South and specifically from middle and developing countries like you and I, from Africa, from part of Asia that do not have their research up to the par of Europe. It's a good platform for us to explore, where we can explore collaborations with our colleagues from the global north and also contribute our research findings to the global scholarly community. You start by choosing the right platform, like we mentioned, and ensure that you are familiar with the journal publishing policy, and ensure that remember that the version control are already integrated by most of these journals that are set these. And it also helps you to engage in a scholarly community like the Society, for instance, that Godwin's exposed us to, and also Q's and others that will be sharing with you in the materials that we'll be giving you after the section. And so we should see preprint as a major part of the publication process. And lastly, preprint, as we know, will continue to evolve, especially with the quality assurance system being built into the publishing landscape, and also the policy that has been developed by most journals now. A lot have already developed. Some are still yet in the process of developing policy of integrating it as part of their publication requirement and processes. And so it helps us to be able to accelerate dissemination of research findings. And so we hope that this section helps. And then in the next phase, we'll have a hands-on practice of how we can participate in the collaborative manner in the preprint service. And also, how do we even contribute to evolving landscape of the research publishing process as Africans, and also as not only as African, but also as the Global South, so that our innovations and also all the technology that are being developed are not biased towards us, but it incorporates data from the global south so that when some of these innovations come, we update them to be relevant to our conditions and our environment. So thank you very much for participating. I would like to hand over to my colleague Godwin to do the sign up. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So for eLife in particular, this is some of the things we're doing, as I mentioned, to improve research culture. We have Early Career Advisory Group, which we are recruiting people now. In fact, we want 2 people from Africa, not to join that group. There are 13 members, so we want 2 from Africa and 2 from other continents. We have the Ambassador Program, and we have the Bembarras Spotlight Award, which is an annual grant. I think it's opening soon this month to request for funding. We have the Global South Committee on Open Science, which has formed, and we will recruit more people into 8 by September, Q3. And of course, we have Early Career Reviewers Poll. This is one of the one that's very much related to what we are talking about today. As you get used to preprints, use it to test out and review other work. You can get to start joining, as Kojo just finished saying, joining editorial groups, because then you have experience of reviewing. We have a reviewing poll for early career researchers who can join eLife to be reviewers and be called by editors to join to review. So this is part of the steps that we are going to, and hope that you will get there if you have interest in that sort of thing. But just that you need to start somewhere to go to that place. And if you're already, those who has experience who are here already that feel they want to join that group, you can reach out to find out how you can join the Early Career Reviewers Pool. And if you want to join the ECAG, I'm just going to post a link here for how to do that so that you know. Thank you, everyone. Fumi, I'll hand over to you. I think we did question at the same time, questions, but I'll hand over to you to finalize. Fumi, are you there?
Yes. Thank you, Godwin, and thank you, Kojo, for the very insightful webinar. I can see people are already sending in their feedbacks. So we'll share details of the next phase of the workshop to everyone. And then thank you all for coming. So have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
And have a restful weekend. Godwin, thank you.
Thank you, Godwin.
Thank you.
Dr. Fumilayo, thank you. Dr. Anayo, Dr. Chandarai, long time. Thank you very much for sending the messages across and also reminding all to participate.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kojo. Thank you. Okay.
Fumi, we shall have to meet soon to plan the next one.
All right. Yeah. Okay.
Can you save the chat so that we can pick out the questions? If anyone has questions that they have wanted to ask, please send it to Fumi. If you have an email they send it to, or somewhere they can send it to.
If they're on the Journal Club WhatsApp group, they can share it there.
Okay. And then
yes,
we can answer those.
Okay. Yes. Also, those that typed, that wrote their questions in the chat is already recorded. So we'll be able to refer to them and respond to them.
Yeah.
Please,
then we can also share the recording.
What about what
Thank you so much. I'd like to join the WhatsApp group.
One person at a time.
The opportunity Godwin has shared, how do we reach you? I mean, about eLife, sorry.
Oh, talk to Fumi. She would be. Fumi, is that okay? I just put my
email. Are you in the journal club? Any of the journal clubs?
Yes, for me.
Which of the journal clubs?